a shrine for Calhoun, John C. Calhoun, and a celebration of slavery. Do we want that to continue? No! What do we want to do? We want to change the name! 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 With me today is a cross-section of the New Haven community leaders, all of who have come out in support of Mr. Menafee. And I would first like to call on Barbara Fair, who heads up People Against Injustice, to say a few words. Welcome and thank you.
Hi, I'm actually a part of my Brother's Keeper now, but I'm here today because, as my placard says, I salute Corey Menafee. I think he is the Rosa Parks of 2016. I think we need a whole lot more Rosa Parks to undo the injustice that racism continues to wreak on our nation. And so, and as we stand here in support, this is the power of the people that you're looking at. As some people think that Calhoun's name will never change because the president has stood firmly in that place, we still feel that the power of the people will end up doing what needs to be done for this city, and that's changing the name of Calhoun and put a name up there that represents someone we can be proud of, as opposed to somebody who has, as a part of the ugliest history that this nation has ever held and continues to hold. And we would like for the exploitation of African Americans within Yale University and Yale Hospital, we would like to see that change too. African Americans can do more than cook and sweep and clean toilets.
That's right.
We have so much more that we could be contributing to Yale. Corey Menafee is a degreed individual. Why is he in the dining hall anyway? Why is that the only kind of job that we can get in Yale?
That's right.
This is the history of slavery continuing, and I think the power of the people in New Haven is going to change that. I don't care if it's not today, tomorrow, next year, or the following year. Calhoun will change the name of their college, and Yale will change the way that they treat African Americans and other minorities in this country. Thank you.
Yes!
Thank
you.
Is Corey Menafee's lawyer, who has been a fierce advocate on his behalf, Patricia Kane.
Today is a day to thank everybody. You made a difference. Unidad Latina Acción, the extended Yale community, meaning faculty, students, and especially alumni, and of course the media. You kept the spotlight on this, and today my client is back to work, and in a few minutes the court will acknowledge the charges, and that'll be at the end of the legal proceedings. He will not be making a statement, but he wants to thank you all for your support. You made a difference. Thank you.
I'd like to now call on a fearless New Haven advocate with Unidad Latina, John Lugo.
Yes! Hi, John.
An injured to one is an injured to all.
That's it.
And what
All
happened
blood
to
matters.
Menafee affects the entire community. That's why it's so important when the community got together and decided to fight back the university.
Right.
But at this moment, even though like his charges are going to be dropped, even though like he's getting his job back, we're going to continue fighting the Yale University until they change the name.
That's right.
If they don't change the name, we're going to make the life of the university miserable the same way they have been making the life miserable for many workers, exposing them to those racist pictures. Thank you.
Next is another, she wears two hats. One is she's a very involved resident of the city of New Haven. She is also a tenured professor at Yale Law School. Give it up for Tracy Beard.
Hi everybody, I don't want to say very much other than to say thank you for all of you who are New Haven residents, who aren't connected, who aren't workers at Yale, for coming out and taking part in this issue that is really critical, I think, for everyone in New Haven. And I also want to say as a faculty member that I am honored and humbled to be here with people who are really putting themselves out on the line. This isn't hard for me to do. more folks from the university and especially my colleagues will come out and support you. So thank you.
Thank you.
And our last speaker before we go into the courthouse is Catherine Denby. She has been involved from the very beginning of these efforts, and she is a graduate of Yale Law School. Catherine.
When we started the petition to change the name of Calhoun College, we did it knowing that it would be the first in a long line of steps Yale needed to take in order to change its relationship with workers and faculty and students and the community of New Haven. And the fact that Yale is unwilling to change the name and the way that they have treated Corey Menafee during this process demonstrates that they have a lot of work to do in order to heal their relationship with the people who work for them and with the community they're in.
That's right.
That's all right. That was good.
Actually, we have one final surprise speaker. He is a badass, and his name is Senator Marty Looney.
Thank you. I'm very pleased that things seem to be working out well for Mr. Menafee, but also I think it's important to look at the whole issue about how Yale is handling the naming and the issue of Calhoun College itself. I think what is most disturbing is that that is not a reflection of attitudes that existed in the pre-Civil War era when Calhoun was a national figure. Calhoun College was actually built in the 1930s, not in the 1840s or 50s. So it is a reflection of attitudes much more recent in our history, and therefore much more disturbing. And I think it is somewhat unfortunate that Yale held out a promise of change when it initially announced it was having a process to look at the whole issue of naming Calhoun College, and then at the end of that process decided not to do anything. I think that was a very poor way to handle the situation, because there had been an implicit promise, I believe, that the university was going to take some action that it failed to do. That era of the 1930s was a time of great disturbance in the world. In the 1920s and early 30s, there was a eugenics movement in this country that was an effort to try to cut off reproduction for certain categories of people, notably minority group members, those who had any kind of physical ailment or disability. The idea of creating, try to encourage certain kinds of population growth and decreasing others. The era in which immigration was legally cut off from what it had been in the previous 70 years. And it was by no means coincidental that was also the time of the rise of the fascist dictators in Europe, and some of the arguments that were made by so-called eugenics experts in the United States were being made by Hitler and others when they rose to power. So I think we have to look at this whole context of what things that were happening in the 1930s, and I think it's even more disturbing that there was a testament to someone like John C. Calhoun, not in the 1850s, but 80 years later, when attitudes should have changed and should have been more likely than they were at that time. And I think that all of this serves to hinder that, and I think reopens the issue about what Yale should be doing about Calhoun College. Thanks very much.
So I'm down here, downtown New Haven, Superior Court, and I'm about to speak to Barbara Fair and hear what she has to say about this. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I'm so happy to be out here today, and I'm just really thrilled with all the people who came out in support of this. Yale needs to change the name of Calhoun to somebody who can be respected, as opposed to continuing the legacy of slavery. And I'm so excited about being a part of it. We should honor and salute Corey Menafee. He is the Rosa Parks of 2016. We need a lot more people like that to take action.
So may I ask you a question? Because one of my things, personally, I felt as though a lot of people underscored the impact of what Corey Menafee did.
Of course.
How do you feel about that?
Like I said, it was a gesture that people are looking at, and they don't look at the root cause of that. And that's what's wrong with our nation. We don't look at the root causes of the behavior. The root causes of the behavior that he did needs to be really paid attention to, because it was, I'm sure, agonizing every day as a man of conscience to go into that place and look at those depictions of slavery and still have to work for these people who obviously honored that kind of thing.
So how do you feel, honestly, about the turnout today? Looking at who's here, do you think we could have done better?
We definitely could have done better because for the fact, if you look around, there's very few African Americans out here, and
Correct.
that's always very discouraging.
And can you talk on that for a little bit?
It's always been a frustrating point for me because a lot of the work that I do is impacting African American communities,
Right.
and those are the people that somehow don't seem to show up in numbers. I don't know what it's about. It's frustrating for me, but I will continue to push forward.
And
if
I
I'm
agree
the
with
only
you.
one in the crowd, I will continue.
Correct, and I also share that belief. I also feel as though in the Northeast, the segregation here is so blatant, yet not discussed. How do you feel about that?
To tell the truth, when the segregation first started here, it was more subtle. If
Right.
people thought when you come north, everything's better. But the only difference with the racism in the South, it was more blatant. It was more subtle here. But if people
Right.
look around, the racism is very blatant.
Correct.
Now, people act like they can't see it. But
Correct.
it's very blatant. If you look at what's going around this nation and this election, it's bringing all the crazies out.
So I've often said, and I've said it publicly, that Yale is the second government of the United States. How do you feel about that?
They are. They're nationally, I mean, across the world, people respect Yale. So I think because they have all that respect, they
Right.
should do better.
Right.
Why would they honor this man who actually supported slavery when that was such an ugly history? There's so many people that they could name that college after, like
Right.
Frederick Douglass, Rosa
Right.
Parks, people like
Right,
that.
we could go down the line.
Right, right.
And you said something very powerful, and I could relate to that because I'm a doctoral student, and if I were to say go to New Haven Works, right, and ask them to help me, somehow I'm limited to the jobs I could apply for.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I've had that same experience myself. I'm
Yes.
a master's degree social worker, and I've gone to Yale
Right.
many times, applied for jobs, never been able to get in. But yet my family members who have gone in to either cook
Right.
or be nurses' aides,
Right.
they get right in. But myself, I could never get in.
Right, because currently I am job hunting, and I always feel as though there's a triad in New Haven, specifically the Housing Authority, the City of New Haven, and Yale. In my opinion, they work together, and so if you were to be disbarred from either one, you might as well apply for a job outside of the city. How do you feel about that?
I just think it's terrible that they have so much influence over what goes on in
Yes.
our city. A lot of influence. So instead of having this bad influence, why don't you change and have a good influence? Why don't
Right.
you, if you want to say you want to be a part of New Haven community, you want to change the history that they have now, let's show that in action.
Do you think people are afraid to speak out because they're afraid that they may be criminalized?
And jobless, a lot of people are not going to say anything because they need their jobs.
So if you
a
had
lot
to
of
say
them are not gonna
something
say anything.
to the viewers who are looking right now, who aren't here, who may have wanted to be here or scared to be here, what would you say to them?
I would say one day we have to get off our knees and stand up and walk in our power. And until we're ready to do that, we will continue to be exploited, and there's no one to blame but ourselves. And we
Right.
have to stop being afraid that if we say something, we're going to lose a job or a position or some kind of social status, which means absolutely nothing because they have no respect for you. I don't care what degrees you have
Right.
and what position you have. They have literally no respect for you.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Take
Thank
care.
you. You too.
Bye-bye.
And now we're going to talk to Mr. Anthony Butler.
Get out of here with that Facebook.
We're going to talk to my friend Anthony.
Blah, blah, blah.
You're live. They're seeing you.
Yeah, right. Anyways, what's going on? Are we going in?
Yeah, I see. So Anthony doesn't want to talk, but that's just how he is. So this is the crowd, and he's laughing. He thinks it's hilarious. This is the crowd outside right now. As you can see, people, some have gone in, some are still out here. Everybody's laughing at you, right? And who decided to, hi John, how are you? Thanks for speaking. All right, so you see everybody's assembling to go in. Some of us are out here discussing it, and of course our boys in blue are over there. So we'll see how this all goes, and stay tuned. Thank you for looking.